On this episode of Star Trek Universe, Matt and I are both sick, but we're still talking about Star Trek Strange New World Season 2's big trailer that just dropped today. That does feature our friends from Lower Decks. Also, we have one piece of feedback. Right after these words from our mystery sponsors.
Welcome to Star Trek Universe, the podcast where you get to listen in on two lifelong friends to hack their lungs out while they talk about Star Trek.
Hey, yeah.
How you doing, buddy? You feeling bad like me?
Yeah, bud.
That sucks. That sucks. I didn't even know. Had to cancel podcasts all week. I finally did one this morning. Yeah. I did one. I'm doing this one. So I'm happy to be back podcasting. At least I'm cleared up enough to do that. But earlier this week, I couldn't even talk.
Yeah. I canceled DC on Screen this week. Jason wanted to go around 1 p.m. and I was like, I have been up all night hacking my lungs. I had messaged him at 6 o'clock. I'm like, I can't talk for hacking. Yeah,
I couldn't breathe. I haven't been able to breathe to sleep, and I just wake up every hour to clear my throat and stuff. It's been terrible. It's been a terrible week. But there are worse problems in this world. We doing all right. I'm thankful for what I have. One of those things that I have is this trailer, man.
I thought you were referencing the sickness that you have.
Oh, no.
I'm thankful for what I have.
No.
A good cough keeps me occupied,
The good things that I have in this world. I am not thankful for this cold, although you never know. Who knows what other things may have befallen me if not for this cold.
Yeah, maybe it's building up your immune system just for a second to keep you away from the strep that's destroying everyone's immune systems.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Anyway, we got a trailer.
Yeah, let's do it.
And we have Boimler and Mariner in the trailer.
Yeah, we do. They seem a little more subdued. And I was expecting that. They talked about it when they played with them, how to match the tones, how to find their characters in this different medium, Mm-hmm. So I expected them to be a little bit toned down, but I was really excited about Boimler. I don't know, seeing Jack Quaid play Boimler so big, as he does. Oh my God, he just has that elevated voice, and who knows? They may be a little older here. They may be whatever. I don't know what they're. We don't know anything about this episode, but they seem a little more subdued. I almost didn't recognize Mariner's voice because she just doesn't sound as big as she does on Lower Decks. I recognize Jack Quaid, but mostly because he's from The Boys.
Yeah, I mean, you have to big it up a little bit. You have to exaggerate a little bit on animation.
Yeah, for sure.
I was expecting a come down a little bit. And just there's apparently a sequence with Pike where he's animated in the show, in this episode.
Oh, that's fun.
And I'm going to expect him to really, kick it up a notch.
Yeah, let's hope.
But Boimler not being able to figure out how to say live long and prosper as well or whatever.
That was very fitting, yeah.
That was wonderful. And I loved seeing them in live action.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the trailer, not a ton as far as story. We see Spock with some Klingons hollering.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clearly Chapel and Spock are going to get down.
Yep. Well, a lot of kissing in this trailer.
We saw Spock having an emotional outburst, shaking his fist and kicking.
He was excited about the kiss, as how they cut it. I don't know if that's actually what is going to happen, but that you also saw in one shot Una's kissing Pike.
No. I think that was Pike's girlfriend from the first episode, who was on
that weird planet,
maybe a captain or something.
Oh yeah, you're totally right. I see it now. It's so all the cuts are so fast in this trailer. We do those frame by frames on the MCU cast, and I'm trying to I'm sort of doing that over here, doing my own little frame by frame, watching these. Did you see the kaleidoscope Klingon battle cruisers or whatever?
No.
Oh yeah, there's a moment where you see all these kaleidoscopes. I can tell you when. It's at about 134 or so. It's the Enterprise is spinning in like this kaleidoscope thing behind it.
Yeah, I saw that.
There's Klingon battle cruisers, and there's like 3 of them in that vortex with the Enterprise, or outside of it. Yeah, you can see them behind it.
For real? Yeah, you can.
Yeah, it looks really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff, cool visuals in this trailer in a way that, like, if they had brought back Star Trek, if this was the first season of New Trek, you know, like if Discovery never happened, Picard had never happened, and they just brought this back, I think I would be like crazy excited for this, even with like no context. It's just super cool. Like, I love that they're bringing so much color back to sci-fi, you know?
Yes, because I am sick of like the really dark gray, you know, everything has to be gray sci-fi. Like, I don't mind that they're doing it. They did it kind of in Picard season 3. Like, a lot of people were bitching about that, and you know, I'm like, no, dude, you know, there's an even ground. There's a middle ground. I mean, like, I think Strange New Worlds looks very cinematic. Oh yeah, but it's also pretty bright and colorful. But it doesn't have that like even television lighting that looks kind of shitty.
Right, it doesn't.
One of the things I love about this trailer, and I know I've talked about it before, I love about Strange New Worlds is it really does look like old Bob Peak Star Trek book covers. Like, it looks like old sci-fi book covers.
It looks super pulpy. It's like really like it just, and you know, it reminds me a lot.
Cinematically though.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I mentioned it when we did that last episode of Picard and the Enterprise coming in, how that felt like a Doctor Who moment.
Yeah.
Like, this trailer feels like this entire season is going to be filled with, like, Doctor Who moments. You know, like a lot of that, like, I don't know, not being scared to be a little cheesy and have big moments. You know what I mean? Like, that's, Star Trek's all about that. Like, you get to the end of an episode and someone makes a big decision and has some big speech, you know? And, like, it just seems like they're embracing that sort of, they're embracing the things that a lot of Trek has left behind for fear of it being cheesy. Yeah. And I think some of that is the color itself. Yeah.
You're like, it's going to have a bunch of those Doctor Who moments, you know, and I heard a redneck in the back of my head going, yeah, what, like being woke? Like suddenly being woke after 60 years?
Yeah, suddenly.
Without warning.
Yeah, without warning, just suddenly Star Trek changed it up, became woke.
With the nary an episode of a person with a half white, half black face.
Yeah. That's the kind of simple anti-racism I could get behind.
He's black on the left side. Our whole planet was destroyed.
They were the protagonists of that episode, right?
They bravely fought on the corpses of their fellow planet people. I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't know either, man. You're loopy. I really like this. I want to know the context of this shuttle that's crashing at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, me too.
It looks completely torn apart, and there's parts that are like tied on and stuff. One thing looks like a bat'leth that's like tied to it, and I don't think it is. It just looks like it's a curved like blade, though. It must be a part of the ship. But it reminds me of that Firefly in Serenity, the Firefly that's like mocked up to be a Reaver's ship.
That shuttle looks more patched up in what I assume is one episode than Voyager got in 7 years.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's really poorly patched. I love it.
Mm-hmm. It's like a Reaver ship in Serenity.
Yeah. Did you just hear me say that, or no?
Nope. Or maybe you said that and I wasn't listening. And
yeah, I just said it. I just said, it reminds me of the Firefly from Serenity when they mocked it up to like a Reaver ship. And then like 3 seconds later, you're like, reminds me of that Reaver ship. And I was like, yeah, I just said that.
I'll get distracted. I probably heard you subconsciously.
It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things when you realize how little you listen to me. This is always what you're doing. You just most of the time don't get caught. Gosh, okay. We're both laughing, and it's making us like both cough. This is a terrible thing.
Man. Yeah, this is a terrible episode. I mean, like, also, like, I don't usually have, like, a trailer up that I'm watching on repeat, you know?
Right,
So,
right,
like,
right.
I'm totally distracted by these, like, gorgeous shots of the Enterprise flying around this planet or whatever. Like,
Yeah. It's beautiful, man.
So, yeah, I'm toning you out a little bit. I want to know what this thing is coming, like, it looks like it's falling down. You know what it looks like? What are those creatures that was effing around with Thanos in game?
It looks like a Kree ship or whatever in the sky above that planet. Definitely. Looks like old Ronan's showing up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Guessing that's just a ship crashing into a planet or like entering the atmosphere of a non-warp capable planet. Because of the way that character's reacting.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, she's down there in uniform, it looks like. So.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
But then we've got Kirk and La'an reacting to explosions.
Yeah, man.
By the way, this voiceover that Kirk did at the beginning in the trailer where he's talking about how we're close to death and all this shit, I didn't even realize it was Kirk. It doesn't sound anything like Kirk.
Yeah.
Or a Kirk character.
Even if it sounded just like him, that's like a thing that he had to learn in his 50s to face death. You know, like that was like a whole arc. So putting it in the trailer for season 2 of Strange New Worlds feels a little weird. It feels like they're intentionally being like, this isn't your grandfather's Kirk or whatever.
Right.
Like, it's really strange to me that he's like, we have to learn to face death. He's always the guy who's like, no, I don't do that. I like cheat death. It's always what I've done.
To be fair, he would totally say shit like that in the original series. So, like, the Wrath of Khan, it never made sense. But it only makes sense in the fact that Kirk is like, I've never had to face death at all like this. Well, we've watched you face death like that, buddy. We've watched you tell a grieving widow that, you know, the guy you just married her to was murdered in battle, and you've had to face this death. It's just because it wasn't someone who was like tremendously close to you. But oh wait, also it was your brother who died in an episode of the original series. So
but who knows how close he was to his brother? Brothers
didn't really care about Sam. In Star Trek V, he's like, I lost a brother once. He's talking about Spock. I'm like, you lost another brother too, you son of a bitch. It's like, remember Sam? Remember, he looks just like you, but he's got a mustache?
Yeah, that's the guy.
Remember? You rolled him over and it was you with a mustache. You don't remember that? It's a harrowing experience. This is to, like, roll your own dead corpse over and say, why do I have a mustache? And why am I dead?
At 58 seconds, I couldn't tell it because it was so fast. I'm going frame by frame here. At 58 seconds, there's a shot of someone walking on the outside of a. Well, at least it looks like a Constitution class. This version.
It looks like Spock.
Yeah, but it's like the Enterprise is torn up. I don't know if it's the Enterprise. It could be a different ship.
Yeah, it might be a different ship.
But yeah, it looks. I'm just fascinated, man. These look like really interesting episodes. Like I don't know what's going to be happening. But this whole thing around the 1 minute mark where Erica and Uhura are hanging out in that weird kaleidoscope thing. It looks like that's going to be setting up some sort of little, like, I don't know, like pocket dimension or something that seems like out of time or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. It looks cool.
It does look really cool. You know, it kind of looks like the way the supervisor's layer was depicted in the comics in the 90s.
Okay.
Like, you know, with Gary Seven. But I don't think we ever saw that in canon anywhere. So
yeah, I don't know.
You know, I'm sure it's not that, but it looks dope. But either way,
yeah. But if it is, maybe Wesley will show up.
Yeah, apparently every show wanted Wesley.
That's cool, and that's why they made him that character. They were like, every show wants him. I guess that'll probably continue happening. So let's just make him a character that can show up anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's clever. It's clever.
Yeah. I dig it. I'll see him. I want to see him.
And then at 107, we have a saucer section that's, again, completely destroyed. And this time it looks like it's entering the atmosphere. So I'm wondering if this is the Enterprise. This is like completely... That Enterprise is totaled if it's the Enterprise. So I'm wondering if they're going to do something with a destruction. Man, you would love it. Well, you'd love it and you'd hate it. if they had did destroyed it so bad they had to do a refit and it became like the classic Constitution class. Like they had to do a complete redo because it's like so destroyed.
I would be. It depends on how they did it because like Star Trek 3. We've always assumed that Pike's Enterprise was the one that Kirk was in the original series,
right?
And that Pike's Enterprise had previously been captained by Robert T. April. So in Star Trek 3, it is supposedly the same Enterprise. It's had a refit, but there's some admiral who's like, Jim, the Enterprise is 20 years old. And we're like, bullshit. It was 20 years old in the original series, at least.
Yeah.
So, like, if it got blowed up.
Yeah, it could be a different Enterprise. Yeah, but that didn't really jive because, it's not, why would they say they're captain that ship first or whatever?
I mean, maybe in the old days they didn't call them ABC. They were just like, we'll call that one Enterprise too.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they didn't call Defiant A when they renamed that other ship in DS9, did they?
I don't believe they did. Yeah, sometimes the naming conventions are weird. I remember there was something in Picard this season we were like, they've never done a naming convention like that before. I can't remember what they did, but I remember it was something that was just totally different.
I don't remember.
I don't either. So based on Spock's clothing, when he comes into that thing and starts celebrating, it looks kind of medieval. And then also, Pike, when he blocks that thing, he's also dressed in medieval garb. And I'm wondering if they're going to do another one of those episodes or like an expansion. Remember that episode where like they all got in that weird dream, some sort of dream hallucination thing where they were all like in medieval times. I wonder if they're going to like somehow continue that story.
I don't know about that. Well, that was a fairy tale, wasn't it? That was like some kind of like bullshit area of space that made fairy tales real or something.
Yeah, it was the little girl was hearing fairy tales every night, and she was communing with that being inside the nebula. And so the nebula was creating the fairy tale on the ship.
That's right.
But I'm wondering if they're going to do something like that. There's also a shot at 115 where M'Benga is also wearing like leathers and like looking very badass into the distance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking they're doing something with. It may not be that, but it may be something like that.
I don't know. That might just be a flight jacket. Like the normal away team flight jacket thing they've got. Yeah,
it could be.
It's hard to say.
What do you think of this? At 117, there's like a space vagina. Well, I'm sorry. So there's like a sci-fi vagina. It actually looks like it's probably on a planet.
Hold on. By the way, my wife pointed this out last week. All these people keep writing in and complaining about my cringy sex things. You're talking about mat nips. Rubbing your face on mat nipples. Yeah. You just brought up the space vagina. You do it too. You just like to point out that you just cringe when you didn't think of it first. That's the only thing. That's the only thing.
No, there's a line and you don't see the line.
Well, I know.
There's like playing with the concepts, and when you see it, you'll see what I mean. At 117, there's a space vagina. It's only for 2 frames. It's right after you see 2 people come out of the Enterprise hull in spacesuits. The next shot,
there's some sort of it's like an eye of Sauron.
Yeah, it looks like an eye of Sauron, or a vagina of Sauron, if you will.
The vag of Sauron, Sauron's gash.
Oh, see that you cross it. You see what I mean? That's too far. The vagina of Sauron was fine.
No,
but then you went the step too far, and I get it. That's what you do.
We must make the journey to Sauron's axe wound.
See, you just don't get it. There's a line. There's a line.
No, I get it. It's just...
You just like crossing it.
No, I do.
So tell your wife to fuck off. That's what I say.
Nope, she's right. You enjoy it. You're just a liar.
Just teasing, Bethany. I love you. Anyway, it looks like it might be the Enterprise crashing into Sauron's lady parts there.
Yeah, it looks like... I mean, I'm just saying, based on what you said... It looks like Sauron's vagina has grabbed the Enterprise hull with its labia pinchers. It does just look like pinchers more than a vagina, but
yeah,
you said vagina, so that's what we got to go with.
It's what we have to go with. No, it really does. I have Sauron's a much better pull.
I mean, I see it. I see what you're saying.
So it looks like the whatever saucer section's been being destroyed and coming into an atmosphere, I'm thinking that's where it's crashing.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like all of these shots we're getting are from only a few episodes. It seems like
maybe.
Like a lot of the same themes are running through here. Like there's 4 or 5 different episodes we can really distinctly tell, which just makes sense. They're probably still in production.
Yeah, I mean... right after the shot, which the trailers could be confusing this way, but right after the shot of that saucer section crashing, they have a shot of like Una, Spock, and La'an standing in a line with some like hills and dunes and shit behind them. Very evocative of Star Trek 3 when the Enterprise crashed, and then it cuts to them like watching it crash, and Kirk's like, "My God, Bruce, what have I done?" Also, the way Una and Spock look at each other is very, very much looks like they're saying, "Did I just watch a space pussy grab my ship and destroy it?"
That's the look I always see when that happens.
That's classic look. It's universal.
Okay, then we have the wonderful shot of Boimler and Mariner. And that's just really great. I'm just so excited to see them in live action and to see what a crossover. Like, I would be excited if there was just a random episode where they're going to meet Starfleet officers from the future. That would be exciting. If I'd never seen these characters before, and the fact that it's like animated comedy characters showing up, like, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's funny you brought up how it seems like they're more subdued here. Because they do come from a comedy and this is more of a drama, but I've been catching up on Barry on HBO Max, or I guess Max now.
Oh, yeah.
And we were just watching, one of the last episodes we watched was them talking about her telling Barry, like, in a comedy, all you got to do is be loud and talk loud and fast, and that's what you do for a comedy.
That's really funny.
Like, I watched that earlier today, so...
That's really, really good.
That's fun.
Where are you in Barry?
We have finished the first season.
I love that show.
That is it.
We're up to date. We're watching it for Pandavision right now. And I've really enjoyed doing it for Pandavision because like we've really gotten to. We've never covered it before, but we just jumped in for the final season, and it's just so much. It's really fun to like break it down because there's so much going on and so many themes that I've thought about in passing, but never like tracked them week to week. You know what I mean? It's been particularly rewarding to go over that show.
Yeah, it's really good. I like it so far. This shot of Boimler and Mariner, the background doesn't look like a Strange New World set to me. It looks more like one of the movie sets, almost. Like one of the refit Enterprise sets to me. But
you know what? I wonder
I might be wrong.
I wonder if it's the Cerritos. Like, could they
also
have
doesn't look like that, but...
Like, it kind of looks more like a TNG era set, is what I'm thinking. Like, or even later than... Like, it's got that same sort of paneling or something.
Yeah,
more
see,
so than...
To me, it just looks like one of the first 6 movies, probably around Star Trek 3 or 6. No, not 6, 5, maybe. But
Either way, it doesn't look like the Enterprise.
It doesn't
the
look
current
like
Enterprise.
But I guess it might be his quarters or his ready room. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this show enough to remember what his quarters look like. You know?
Yeah, I'm not either.
Wait, see, everything goes by so quick in this trailer.
I know. You know how to do frame by frame, right?
No.
Your comma and period button. Huh. If you hit paused, if you hit comma, it goes backwards, and period, it goes forwards. So, yeah.
So it does.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
All right, so we got a couple of people. We're looking at this hull. We're looking at this saucer section, like burning up in a planet. This atmosphere. Yeah. With a couple of people floating out in space. And then we've got Kirk with La'an face to face, looking like they're about to kiss or something.
Yeah.
Wait. And then we're back to this like crystal palace. What is look? There's like a glowing person walking toward them. Do you see that?
Where? I don't know what.
In the crystal palace at like 133.
133.
When it looks like Uhura and Ortega.
Oh yeah. See there. Yeah.
It looks like
you talking about the person in white.
Yeah, is that Chapel?
Yeah, it's Chapel.
Okay, you know what? It looks like it reminded me of Lazarus from the Alternative Factor from the original series. When he and his antimatter universe.
So that's Chapel and that's Uhura. I'd recognize that silhouette anywhere. And then who's the third person there?
Ortega's.
Is it Ortega's? Okay.
Yeah. But when Lazarus and his counterpart from the alternate antimatter universe fight, they do like a negative, like a film negative. So they look like what Chapel looks like in this shot.
Okay. I think I may have just confirmed that the ship that is burning is not the Enterprise. If you go to 134, it's Spock in the spacesuit from the episode where that saucer section's burning, or like all torn up. You know, he's like him and Chapel are flying out of it, I believe. In their spacesuits. There's a shot at 134 of the Enterprise looking on to the wreckage. He's flying towards in that spacesuit, flying towards wreckage. So I think that shows that all this saucer section being destroyed stuff is probably not the Enterprise.
Maybe.
Yeah, all speculation, but I think reasoned speculation.
Oh yeah, no, I doubted the whole time it was the Enterprise. It's just loose hopes and dreams,
Yeah,
clustered in a podcast.
That's what all this is. Well, man, that's all I got really. I've gone literally frame by frame through this whole thing, chatted and talked about it. It's cool, man. I'm really excited. Really, really excited.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm excited. I am happy to see all the things.
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
It just looks like a really fun season of show, and then the crossover is going to be really exciting. Whenever they get to that, I'm going to be pumped. And I hope this means, I don't know, I hope this leads to more I know that it won't make a lot of sense if they constantly cross over because they're different time periods, but maybe it does. Maybe there's maybe Boimler and Mariner join the Time Brigade or something.
Dude, I would, man, that's something I've missed from Voyager. Remember the 29th century temporal fleet shit?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wanted that to happen. And then they skipped over it when it was 32nd century. You bastards. They skipped over it in Enterprise too.
Yep.
Oh man, come on.
Yeah, you got some feedback. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Tim Castillo said to us, round and round the mulberry bush. Dave, Matt, what song plays when you wind up a Jack in the Box? Pop goes the weasel. There are 4 lights. So then he says...
I understood that reference.
So then he says, So the ground type gem is on Viridian 3, right? I don't get that one. But he says, I love playing cards all night, and I was not in intended life either, so I'm right there with both of you. Hooray.
I think this is one of those where he's responding to us things we're saying as he types it. Yeah. I never remember what those are referencing.
I was saying that you and Ryan were at a birthday party of mine where you played cards with my parents, and they told you that I was not in intended life.
Oh, yeah.
I was not planning it.
That's right.
Yeah. So Tim says, I haven't heard my previous email come up. That's the one I just read, which I usually don't care about, but I pointed out something so very integral to connecting the first and last episodes of TNG and Picard that I just had to email in again to point it out. Borg Jack is a Jack in the Box.
Oh.
And as was referred to earlier in the season, Data was whistling Pop Goes the Weasel in Encounter at Farpoint. And Pop Goes the Weasel is the song in Jack in the Box.
Plays the Jack in the Box. Oh, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, that's good. I'm sorry. We just got caught up. And Stuart Little on YouTube says, "How dare you?" That's another one from like a reference to something. "How dare you? I'll have you know I skipped to my section on the YouTube episode. Then I download the iTunes edition to listen to the whole thing. So really, I give you double viewership. You're welcome."
Well, thank you. Did we accuse him of not doing that?
I don't know. I think I made a joke because I said we saved Stu for the last.
Oh.
And then also because I suspect maybe that he
doesn't listen. That's right.
He only wants to listen to his version. He won't listen to the rest of the episode.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
I remember.
That sounds familiar.
Sorry. I don't ever remember anything I've said, and I disavow whatever that past guy said.
Yeah, I'm a new person. People change.
Yeah. Ship of Theseus, man. I'm new cells every 7 years.
Yeah, Stu, man, I'm sorry you disagree with past Dave. Present Dave is apathetic and has no opinion.
So true. So true.
Future Dave might think you're a liar. You might need to take that up with him. However, present Dave, I'm willing to believe you. Appreciate the double viewership, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Appreciate that. Stu, namesake of our podcast. All right, well, guys,
that's it.
We're gonna stop coughing in your ears for a while. Hopefully I was able to edit out all the coughs. I put markers down everyone I heard, but sometimes Zoom does me the disservice of muting or like covering up coughs, and I always that I miss them, but I'm going to do my best. So if you heard a bunch of coughs this episode, I apologize. We love you. Joel on True.
Live long and matnip.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.